we are going to have the opportunity to hear the candidates question each other directly. As those of you that have observed lawmaking, this happens when they address each other on the floor through the speaker. It was, as an intern, one of my favorite parts to see two legislators really get into it over summer. Don't disappoint that. Let me just explain how this will go. The candidate, beginning with Mr. Morris, he will choose one of his fellow candidates to question, and he'll have 1 minute to ask a question. The person that he asks the question to will then have 3 minutes to respond to the question. Then it will go back to Mr. Morris for a 2-minute response to what was said by the person that received the question. Then the other two on the sidelines will be able to have a 1-minute response. Following that, we go back to the candidate to whom the question was given for a 1-minute response. So we get together nice and give and take. I take no responsibility for the options of asking I'll wait on sir. And as always, keep in mind this is up to a certain amount of time. There's no need to take up the entire time. But the first person to question a candidate is Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, you have 1 minute to ask any one of your fellow candidates.
Mr. Olinger, you are the lucky man. How does your experience as the owner of a small business qualify you to be an effective state representative? You know that I founded and own 4 small businesses, and I know how I would answer this question. And also, how is your 4-year degree going to benefit to you? How is it going to benefit you in representing?
Mr. Olinger, you have 3 minutes.
As a business owner, I have seen what government intervention, positive government intervention and negative, can do. I'm a real estate broker. We just saw a lot of stimulus go into paying people $8,000 to buy houses. And let me tell you, from March and April, we were booming. That was March and April. May, June, and July, we were bottoming out. You look at mortgage applications are down, sales are down, new housing starts are struggling. So we paid $800 times however many millions of people, millions and billions of dollars for that stimulus. And what it succeeded in doing was moving the buyers that were going to buy anyway in June, July, and August into March and April. So government at its best, the best government intervention that helps the economy is one that spends billions of dollars to get buyers who are already going to buy within a short period of time. It really had no, it will have, when the smoke clears, it will have no benefit. So government isn't the answer for us. When we talk about college degrees, I have a 4-year college degree in business marketing. And I have a dual MBA from Indiana Tech. And I teach undergrad at Indiana Tech, marketing, HR, law, and economics. Education is valued. I never learned, even though I have a business degree, I didn't learn much about business. So I got out in the workforce and worked. And started my own business. And started businesses that worked, some of them worked, some of them didn't. That's the beauty of America. You can start a business, fail, get up, dust yourself off, and start another one that succeeds. When you look at Thomas Edison, failed 1,000 times to get one light bulb. That's what socialism builds. Everybody's successful. So everybody rushes to the point of mediocrity. In a capitalist society, we're all trying to outdo each other. 4 of us tonight, we're trying to outdo each other to get your vote. But what's going to come from that is the best candidate is going to emerge. Can you imagine a system where somebody else picked that candidate because they thought they were the best? We have to lose. It's what socialism is. And that's what breeds mediocrity. What this country is about is being the best you can be. You do that through education. You do that through trial and error. You look for success and failure.
Thank you. Mr. Morris, you have 2 minutes if you'd like to respond to the response.
Like John just stated there at the end, education is something very, very, I hold very close to my heart. Both my parents were teachers. And I went to Bishop Olinger High School, and my whole life has really been right here in the And he touched on his experience in real estate, and I've dealt with a few of those people as far as the bailout goes. I believe that they were bailing anything and everything. You buy a refrigerator, you get tax credits. You can get a roof, you get tax credits. Where is that money coming from? If you use a tax dollar, you grab the tax dollar from one of you people to pay for it. Just keep paying for it, all the way down the line. So my brother and I would sit around the round table and he'd say, "You think it's time for a new refrigerator?" And I'd say, "No, I don't think so." And he'd say, "You know what you're going to do with your old refrigerator? You're going to put it in the garage." So now we're running 2 refrigerators. And you can't tell me if people went and bought a new refrigerator, that they got rid of their old one. Then cash for clunkers came along. My education and my parents being educators taught my brothers and my sister and I the difference between what's right and what's wrong. The bailout system from the word go was a tragedy for this country that we're going to pay for years to come. So being well educated, and my brothers and I always look at each other and say, "Are we abnormal in thinking this way?" I would say no. So that being said, as far as the way John responded to that question, somewhat interesting. I just want to elaborate on it.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, would you like, you have a 1-minute response?
Well, I think you said this earlier, but in business, if you win more than you lose, every year you're ahead. In government, there's really nobody there to keep you accountable except for the electorate. Many times, safe seats, things like that, it becomes a elected after elected after elected. So, my business experience, I think you need to have systems in place where you can measure how government is performing. I think the governor, frankly, did a beautiful job with the BMV. It's a system that's computerized. You know what it is. It's about a 10-minute process now. You knew who was working, who was running the place, you knew who was there as what the caseload was, and if there's performance issues that need to be adjusted, it can be adjusted through understanding the data. But, I put aptitude to work as a business owner that I think is really created benefits for me and my family and the community.
Thank you. Mr. Billy, as well, you have 1 minute.
I think one of the best learning experiences I've had was prior to being the district director for Congressman Sauer's creative session of economic development. And my job was basically go out, learn about what's going on, get the information of Washington so we can be on the lookout for regulations, legislation, things that were going to hurt businesses in our area. I think that more than anything else, constantly getting out in the community and learning about what's going on. The beauty of our economy is it's constantly changing. What we were doing 5 years ago is completely different from what we're doing now. We're innovating, we're experimenting. One of my friends in the technology sector was about I'll always be testing. So I think it's important, whoever gets elected, to be out there and constantly be finding out about our community and seeing how it's changing so they can do a good job representing us in Indianapolis.
Thank you. Mr. Olinger, would you like to have a 1-minute final response to the question?
I'll wait.
You'll wait? Okay, thank you. Mr. Olinger, you're next up.